As I mentioned before, or even as you know, I am K.P. George, Fort Bend County Judge, and I am born and raised in South India, Kerala. And there's always a saying, I came here as quick as I can. I came to New York, and from there moved to Texas in 1999. That is almost 25 years ago, 25 plus years ago. And here in Fort Bend County, I have a family, and I have children, and went to Fort Bend ISD. My wife is actually she was a Fort Bend ISD educated. Now she is an instructional specialist with Harmony Schools of Excellence. And so most of my life, if you take one place, this is where I spent most of my life. I wanted to make sure we get proper representation, and that's the reason why I started. Initially, it was not really any fun. Somebody coming from the other side of the world with an accent and learning English in this country first time. And I tell you, when I came to 1993, I came to New York. I went to Queensboro Community College to learn English. That's where we started. And living and I born and raised in a remote village in South India, where that village got electricity in 2007. So walking to school barefoot, and not even having a second set of good clothes. And so I come from a very humble background. That is the very reason why I understand people. I understand humor. I understand their desire and to provide for their family. And I understand the immigrant community at large, because Fort Bend, getting close to 1/3 of Fort Bend residents are not born in this country, foreign born. And so living here, raising my family and all that stuff, and that's where I thought it is important to engage. And that led to running for office. And as I mentioned before, it is not fun, like people like us doing it. And initially, I was not successful a couple of times. And then, of course, I was elected to Fort Bend Independent School District as a school board member. That actually shows, I don't give up. I will keep doing, once I am convinced on something, and I will keep doing until I am successful, and try to make things different, but you learn and be successful. And I was there in Fort Bend ISD for more than 5 years as a school board member. I first got elected in 2014 and re-elected in 2017. But in 2018, I ran for this office. One of the reasons was, Hurricane Harvey. When any kind of emergency-related thing happened for any county, the county judge is also the director of emergency management. No, actually, when people come from the background where we come from, we are not born and raised neither Republican nor Democrat. You align with a party ideology based on your thoughts and your understanding about it. And as you know, that people coming from our background, they are, when you talk about social issues, when it comes to abortion, when it comes to family, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to all those stuff, people coming from our background are very conservative. And not only that, when it comes to fiscal responsibility, money, and things of that nature, we are very conservative mindseted people. And I sided with a party under the impression, everything is we could work out together and, for the betterment of our citizens, but that is not exactly what I experienced. And today, Fort Bend County's budget is, when I started, it was $482 million. Today, it is at $732 million. That is exponentially we expanded our budget, and no county can sustain that kind of spending. And so I was not supportive of those activities. So when it comes to financial responsibility and things of that nature, I realized I'm not aligned with the party I was aligned. And so it is, I know that when it comes to all these conservative ideals, we all hold very close to our heart. The Republican Party is is champion those ideas, and that's the reason why I made that change. Absolutely, and there are numerous things, and our goal this year, every year after I came into office, it has always been our budget keep going up, and this year, first time, we are looking at establishing my goal is to establish a no new revenue budget, a streamlined budget possibly, so that way we can bring our expenses under control. And definitely in 2021, there was a redistricting happened when I was on the other side. There was some, what's the right word? Certain things were done was not right. As I didn't know at the time, you cannot redistrict based on race. But nobody told me that is not the case. So because of that very reason, our map could be not legal. And so we are in the process of fixing that, and the Republican majority is in the process of, we already initiated a proper redistricting, a legal redistricting, and it is under the work right at this moment. And so you will see a properly redrawn commissioner precinct lines established maybe end of next month. And that is a major change after becoming Fort Bend County Commissioners Court becoming a Republican majority Commissioners Court. No, Fort Bend County redistricting. Fort Bend County Commissioners Court redistricting. Yeah. The first thing is, you're never going to find enough money to run the government business. The first thing you have to do is you cannot expand, because everybody like to have more staff, more resources, and all that stuff. During COVID, we needed it, and also we gave everything to people asked for. But now it is time for us to tighten our belt. And so that can be, this year, majority of the people are not getting new positions, because that's another investment we have to make that actually expanded our county's, spending. And so we need to make sure we are going to follow through on that promise of not increasing revenue, not increasing spending, I should say. And okay, when you talk about revenue, and I want you to know that our property values 4 years ago, used to be almost 10 or 12%. And it came down to 7%. This year it is close to 5%. And I believe that is a trend, and it can go down. And what happens is, if next year or year after county's property value, if it goes down 5%, you have to cut 5% of our budget, because Fort Bend County, or any county for that matter, we only get ad valorem taxes. We don't have sale tax, we don't have any other revenue coming from anywhere, so we are dependent on property taxes. And so if the evaluation of our property value goes down, that means we are going to be forced to cut. And so that's why we wanted to make sure we pass a responsible budget this year, so that we are on a path where you don't have to make that cut. And which is not, the property value is not in our hand. Definitely it is, I told you, some of these people in office, they are spenders, they are liberals, they wanted to spend all the money they want, and I said we cannot do it. That's where they said, okay, we will kick you out of here, so we will put our own people in office so that they could do whatever they wanted to do. And that is the reason why they went and found, going bottom fishing and finding something. As I mentioned before, I don't want to get into the details of the case, but I will tell you this is a clear example of Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office weaponizing the government resources he should be using for using to go after criminals and others, and he is using to show his power, and he have done with other elected officials. And and he also asked me, or my attorneys said, if I agree and resign and go, he will drop the charges. And so if that is the case, so if I did something wrong, so why that is an option? So point I'm trying to make is Fort Bend County is a better place, and I will absolutely stand up and fight this in court, and the truth will prevail. And that's all I can give you in detail about the case, because our attorneys always say that we don't want to talk a lot of details. But I will leave you one thing, and this is campaign-related issue. And we found Fort Bend County District Attorney Brian Middleton have 200 violations last 5 years, and we filed a complaint, and why he's not prosecuting himself. So this is actually absolute abuse of government resources, in my opinion, and need to stop. And I will get my day in court, and I will fight these charges. And once again, I repeat, the truth will prevail. No, I switched because I don't align with the ideology of a party, and so I don't have any problem in that. I'm not going to align with the deep spending and the liberal mindset of the left side of this country, and also the Democratic Party. So I don't see any problem in aligning with the conservative ideas and the conservative values. I don't see any problem, but I will leave that up to the people of Fort Bend County to decide. And I always say that I did not come to this country to become the county judge. God gave me this opportunity to serve, and I did serve with the utmost integrity and transparency. And now these people alleging this or that, and that is something the people to decide.